This is a clip from the Red Cow Arcade podcast.
I ended up playing through all of Toy Story 3 for Xbox 360 with my daughter. She's a big Toy Story fan. She loves Toy Story. She calls the whole living room Toy Town. And she says that Woody's the president of Toy Town and that she's the princess of Toy Town. She's big into like nobody's a bad guy in Toy Town. So like even we have like a Koopa and we have a Wendy Koopa, like it's, you know, the Koopa kid. And she's like, they're not even bad guys. They just sometimes need to be reminded to not be bad guys in Toy Town.
Oh, of course.
So she loves Toy Story. Toy Story like really ignited her imagination for like the kind of imaginary play. And so this game just kind of continued that thing that she responds to Toy Story so well with. It's kind of like the perfect, I mean, first of all, the gameplay is just really good. You know, you can play as Jesse, Woody, or Buzz in different levels and scenarios. So there's like a whole Buzz Lightyear video game. Like the conceit is that you're playing the Buzz Lightyear video game, and that's like a big action, flying, attacking, platforming type level, and it's good. And then there's like sandbox levels where you're just running around like the Sunnyside daycare and you do mini games and stuff. And all of the mini games are pretty fun. Like ride Bullseye and pop 10 of the balloons or whatever, you know, it's like a Wii. I think it was available on Wii.
Oh yeah.
This is good. But the things that are most memorable about it are two levels. And they both involve, you remember Bonnie, the girl that inherits the toys? In the movie, she gets Woody and she has him join her toys for a tea party. But then she like gets really crazy with the imaginary play. And in the game, her doll is a witch who shrinks all the toys and then fills the bedroom up with tea. So like Woody's going to drown in tea unless he's able to escape the room. And then she's like, but now the witch just threw you into outer space. And then like Woody's in outer space and you have to like power a rocket ship with batteries. And so it's suddenly this enormous level based on Bonnie's imagination. And that just like set Gloria's imagination on fire. And then at the end of the game, after you've like escaped the junkyard and all the stuff that happens in the movie, then they're like, now Andy and Bonnie, you know, the last very moving scene in Toy Story 3 when Andy and Bonnie like play one last time with the toys. You play that, but you play their imaginary game again. And the imaginary game is that the witch has created a haunted bakery with like zombie muffins. And so you have to like, it's this insane level where you have to commandeer a rocket and commandeer a laser gun and like shoot and a cow launcher and you have to like shoot down muffins and it's just fucking crazy. And, but you know, you're buzzed the whole time. It's fun. And so it's a cool adaptation. It's like, it felt like a very true to the characters, very true. You know, of course it uses all the, you know, Tom Hanks and Tim Allen and stuff so it's like true to the movie while adapting it as a video game. And for me and my old ass, I just feel like I'm playing a modern video game, but I looked up a couple videos to figure out how to do certain things in the game. And I'm looking at the comments and they're like, oh, I'm so nostalgic for this game, man. Like I used to play this when I was 5 with my dad. To go back to 2011. If I could just go back to that magical 2011. I'm like, 2011? That was like 10 minutes ago.
Well, no. I remember seeing... Yeah, I saw Toy Story 3 in Harvard Square when that theater's closed now. And
yep.
It was like one of my early years in Boston.
I remember Toy Story 3 came out like 15 years after the first one, and I was like, wow, this is like 15 years after the first one. This is like Clerks 2 or something.
Yeah.
And then Die Hard 5 or something. And now it's like, it's been 15 years. You know, it's going on 15 years since Toy Story 3. It's like, it's going to be 30 years since that first one came out.
Yeah. I also have been like delving into my video game past because...
Oh, nice.
I have a lot of my Wii games right next to me. I have a pile of Wii games, and it's just interesting because I've kind of been playing with the Dolphin emulator. First, awesome. I broke out my Wii and I hooked it up to my TV, and I was like, "Oh my god, looks awful. Like my memory of the Wii was better than what it actually is because it's like 480p and it looks muddy. Everything's like so aliasing.
Did you used to play it on smaller TVs too?
Yeah, I think smaller TVs or something. And so I was just like, because I was like backing up. I modded my Wii and I was backing up some of my games. And I was like, these look awful. And then I downloaded the Dolphin emulator and played it on my PC where you can up-res it to like 1080p and you can do anti-aliasing. And it looks like so much better. It's like, oh, these look how I remember it. And so I ordered a Dolphin bar, which basically so you can sync your Wiimotes to your PC and play the Dolphin emulator through that. So I'll do that. I'll back up all my Wii games and I'll play through that.
And can't you play Switch on there too?
Yeah, you can do everything on emulator.
It's the ultimate
obviously.
Nintendo illegal thing.
The PC is the ultimate Nintendo.
Have you ever considered hooking it up to one of the arcades just for kicks?
Absolutely. And not only am I considering it.
There's a fourth cabinet on the way.
No. I'd probably do an HDMI cable to that one, and then I'd be able to switch between the Pi and the PC.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So if I
main reasoning to do like shooter games like the Silent Hill type stuff.
Yeah, House of the Dead. So I was playing House of the Dead on the Wii, the Wii console, and it looked such dog shit. It was like so muddy. And then I played it on the PC, and where you can clear it up, and it was like, oh, this is way better. And I'm kind of missing kind of those light gun games. And we were talking about the NES light gun games, so
I've been playing Hogan's Alley on it now. That's
really Hogan's Alley?
Yeah, it's like there's 3 different games. They're all of. Remember, like in Men in Black, where like he had to shoot the bad guys. Not it's one of those, and so you have to be real quick of like shoot the 2 criminals, but don't shoot the old lady or whatever. And it's cool. It's super fun. It's a simple enough concept, but it's more complex than Duck Hunt, and I'm just surprised that it wasn't pushed more. Everybody had one of these things.
Oh yeah. I definitely want to do more streams. I did that stream of Duck Hunt, and it was pretty fun.
It'd be cool to do. You should go through all of at least all the most famous light gun games.
Yeah,
I played through Vector Man, Genesis flagship Genesis title.
I had that as a kid. I remember I got it because the commercial was like you could win money if you beat it or whatever.
Yeah, they pushed it really hard on us.
Yeah, and so I got it, and I couldn't get past the second level.
Yeah, it was. I think it would have been like 95, maybe like sometime pretty late in the Genesis's life. Although they ended up making a sequel, so it couldn't have been too late.
Yeah, it's definitely in that wave of like Donkey Kong Country and all those things that kind of have those pre-rendered thing. Graphics. It is the best. One of the best looking games on Genesis, no doubt. It looks great. I mean, it looks better than Sega CD. It looks better than 32X. It looks awesome. It's like it was almost like an advertisement for like, don't buy our add-on consoles. You don't need it. I think that's their problem is that Sega Genesis was so popular and they had such compelling games on the Sega Genesis while they had all these add-ons on the market.
But it's a run and gun and it's a platformer, and in theory everything, so here you got this super cool look to it. It's got this kind of like 90s futuristic thing going. It's got some voice samples. It's got cool like synth music, and it's like he's got a double jump, like a little like boost jump. So that mechanic feels good. It's got Contra style shooting in it. Everything about it ought to work. But there's something janky about it. There's something like
it's repetitive.
It's repetitive. It's what it is the level design. The level design is like, and the enemy placement, it's not fun. It's not interesting. You're not excited to see the next thing. It does have a little bit of variety of gameplay. There's like a wall scaling one, and there's There's also like a tremendous number of animations for Vector Man. Like you can get these power ups that make you spin like a top, or can make you bounce like a ball. It's cool in theory, but it's also really hard. Like, yeah, I realized, I was like, I think when I was a kid, I just gave up on this game. I think I played, and that must have been very disappointing for me at that age, because I really grinded games.
Yeah, and it was disappointing.
I think I gave up after the second level, because there's like this train level I couldn't get through. I just died.
Yeah.
So I enabled infinite lives, infinite health, infinite boost jump, and infinite time, because there's also a time limit. And I just took a breezy tour of Vector Man. And yeah, sure enough, it's like there's kind of this one type of level. I think there's like 12 levels in total. And at least 7 or 8 of them are like basically clones of each other. They're like different times of day, but they're basically just like scaffolding. If you've played the first level of Vector Man, they're all like that. And the enemies don't get a lot more interesting, and even the end boss battle is underwhelming. And then of course the ending, it's like text. It's like, you won. Vector Man's a fucking hero. Goodbye. It's one of those.
It was one of those games that was trying to sell itself as, oh, the Super Nintendo is a piece of shit. And then I played it. I'm like,
maybe
go back to my Super Nintendo.
It's got enough things going for it that I want it to, maybe I'll check out the sequel and see if they improved anything, to see if they if they grew on the idea.
I didn't play the sequel because the first one was so bad.
There are some Genesis games like that, though, that really just hit. Like they're, like Aladdin obviously is like that, where it's just like, yes.
Yeah.
X-Men 2, The Clone Wars, it's just like, what a great Sega Genesis game, Yeah. Contra Hardcore in theory should be that, but for me it's just not. But I'll say one of our fans or one of our viewers suggested the Japanese version, which they're like, yeah, I don't know why Konami fucked up the North American version, but they're like, the original version of the game, you can hit 3 times like a standard Contra game, and you have unlimited continues, so you have an actual shot at playing the game.
Yeah, that's true.
That was something that when I was playing Toy Story, I was like, this is something that I can really get used. I really enjoy that in a modern game, you can just die infinitely and just keep trying until you win.
Yeah, that's why I like about Mario games now. My son has ventured into Bowser's Fury. He's been playing Super Mario 3D World for like months now, and then he was like, "Oh, let's try that other game that's like basically attached to this one." And he loves it. He likes it because when you die, you don't have lives, basically. Yeah. So you just start again and you keep going. He likes that there's not many pits where you can fall. He likes that, hey, it's just fun. You can just keep going, Toy
Story has this really cool feature. I don't know how many games have this, but it's... So obviously, like in Mario 3D World, if you die too many times, it'll give you a power-up. It'll just be like, just here. Like, we don't want you to just be stuck and turn the game off, And some purists, find that disgusting. But to me, it's like, well, then don't use the power-up. I don't know.
Yeah, Gaby likes that.
Yeah, I mean, it's for kids. Try not to forget that. But Toy Story has this feature where if you get stuck, if you don't know where to go next, you get 2 options. Give me a hint or tell me what to do. And I'm like, I could really use that in more video games, because I can't tell you how many times I've been playing like an open world game or something, and I just don't know what the next thing I'm supposed to do is. And I know that like I'm going to wander around into like playable and non-playable areas, trying to jump on things I can't jump on. Like I'm going to be fucking around for the next 2 hours before it's like, oh, there was like an alley right there and somehow I missed it. And like I had to watch a video that I had to retrace somebody else's steps to get to where I had to go.
Save you a step from going to GameFAQs or whatever.
Yeah. I'd rather not just go to GameFAQs. I loved it. But most of the time because I'm a grown up who should be doing other things. Like when I run into those points in video games, I turn the game off. So if you don't want me to turn the game off, like Give me a little something to let me continue. I'd like to get some ROI on this video game and like see more of it, please.
Yeah. And with Bowser's Fury, you can tell Bowser Jr. to help you a lot. And that's great for Gabriel because he'll just go around like killing all the enemies. While
And it's helpful for him probably to see like things get demonstrated too, to be like, oh, okay, like it probably like helps his mind develop to be like, oh, I can like map this world a little bit more easily.
Yeah,
Bowser's Fury is great. I love Bowser's Fury.
Yeah, it's great. It's short. It's approachable. It's a great tech demo. I hope they make a full-fledged game based on that concept because I like how all the worlds are seamless and you can just get into
great.
it. I love like just jumping into a world and the music just goes pop and like just brings you into it. It's great. Oh
Yeah.
The fiddles.
Very Nintendo. Very like next gen Nintendo.
Yeah.
I like Mario. I revisited Mario Odyssey because of Gloria. I got like 130 moons left. Like I abandoned the game at some point, like with lots of moons left, and it is actually pretty fun that you can go. Like last time I probably went in depth with it was 2018. It's crazy that like 3-4 years later you can turn it back on and there's still plenty to do.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, like, and it's not like I'm not scraping the bottom of the barrel to find moons. Like I can enter any kingdom and like start finding a few moons pretty easily.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.